So I haven't painted in a while, but it's time to start this new painting. I'm super excited. It's going to one of my favorite art collectors. I haven't painted in this scale in a while, so I'm excited to get my hands on bigger things. All puns accepted. But yeah, so I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to do because it's, you know, shapes. So let's get started. I should probably get changed. Por eso no tengo ropa buena porque toda la echa a perder. I end up wearing the same thing because all my clothes is full of paint, so I'm gonna get changed. So I'm gonna start with some yellow paint. I actually mixed it with water just to make it a little bit more easy to work with. This is gonna be a geometric, not geometric, but it's gonna have shapes, abstract shapes. I feel like this looks like an attachment to a caterpillar or John Deere equipment. I don't know. I guess because of the yellow. O también siento que parece la cabeza de Quetzalcóatl. Siento que dioses aztecas tenían como que líneas muy así. Well, I always like to start with the yellow base, so I'm gonna go with a darker yellow for all of this part. Will be this color. And I always do yellow base because, I don't know, I feel like my aura is yellow. Somebody told me that my aura is yellow and I believe it, so therefore I always start with the yellow base too as an offering to my aura. And then my favorite color is blue. ¿Y por qué el azul? Porque Cristian Castro dijo que el amor es azul como el mar azul. But then I was thinking, maybe my aura isn't yellow. Maybe my favorite colors are yellow and blue because Reagan County school colors are blue and gold. Go Owls. So I'm gonna paint all of this yellow and then I'll come back. But I like the dynamics of the shape. You know, now that I'm 41, I like to keep health at the forefront of my daily activities, and this is good for your heart. So this is where it's at now. Siento que si me meto una mordida, me vas a ver a un mango madurito, como dice la Pau, con colorcito. So now I'm gonna add some orange all over the dark yellow. Now I gotta get closer to the shapes, but I'm gonna wait for it to dry, porque si no va a ser un cagadero. Y pues cagaderos aquí no. I am now done with the orange. So with this painting, it doesn't remind me of the work of Mark Rothko, but I guess I'm inspired by the work of Mark Rothko. And I underestimated his talent or skill, I guess, because via textbook or images, his work looks very simple. And honestly, to me, it lacked skill, visually, you know. But once I experienced his paintings in person, it's like, wow, this is like amazing because the color is built. It's so dynamic. It's so rich. You don't get that from an image. That's why I always say that you have to experience art up close and personal so you can see the work, so you can see the skills, so you can see how the color is layered, so you can see just how dynamic the technique is. And I think I want this for this because it's so simple and it's just shapes and stuff. And I want to layer the color in such a way that when you experience this painting in person, you see how the color was built and not just added, you know? So this is the first layer, which is orange. Next will be vermilion and so on until there's a richness in the color. Like you don't know if it's red, if it's orange, if it's scarlet, if it's crimson. So if you're ever in Houston, I recommend to go to the Mark Rothko Chapel. Anytime you get the chance to experience art in person, do so because it's a different thing. So que si quiero crear una vibra super Mark Rothko. Con el color. Obviamente estas formas no existen en el trabajo de Mark, pero ay, creo que ya se me subió. So now I'm gonna add vermilion, which is like a shade darker than orange. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but this is a shade darker. Parece que hice un cagadero, pero está todo fríamente calculado. And I think I love the way it's looking. Keep this in mind. There's gonna be very minimal yellow showing, and orange actually. It looks better now that it's dried. So now I'm gonna come in with cadmium red. So I'm not painting everything evenly, as you can see, just because I want there to be like different hues. So I want some of the orange to show through, maybe even some of this yellow. Now I'm going to come in with the scarlet red. I remember the Scarlet Letter. Good book. I think I overdid it with the scarlet. I think I liked when it was more orange, so I'm gonna bring back the orange. I feel like it needs a very light spot right here. So I'm gonna add some gesso. So while that dries, I'm gonna make myself a drink. Es mi parte favorita, esperar que se seque. O sea, la pintura que pongo. Pues mientras se seca, me preparo una bebida. Este shot glass me lo regaló Dana Paola. De hecho, me regaló 4. Este es uno de ellos. Smells like regret. Lo Topo Chico. Ay, jolines, que le has espantado. Una de Topo Chico. Y luego una de Sprite, pero sin azúcar, porque aquí uno se está... ¡Ah! Uno está guardando la figura. I feel like sugar is worse for you than alcohol. ¡Ay, joder! Bueno, luego... ¡No! ¿Por qué está haciendo eso? Wow, se lo va a echar así antes de que se escapan más. That was weird. Salud. Está rico. I'm bringing in some color while the other part dries. So I like it better now that I lightened the red. It was too red. And I brought in the color just to see how it's gonna balance out the painting. Still in its preliminary stages. I think that bright yellow was my enemy, so I'm muting it because I don't have enemies. So I thought it was too dark, but now that I added that blue, I think it's lightened it up a bit. I don't know if you can see the yellow around this sphere. I think I'm gonna remove it because I don't like it. I'm conflicted about how it looks and how the contrast between the yellow and the orange, and for some reason, like I feel like the yellow is not working in this painting. Obviously, nothing is finished or remotely close to being finished. I didn't like the shape that I had here, and now I love these two blue balls right here. I mean, these two blue spheres, not balls. But, you know, this is a motif that I've repeated before, and I didn't even realize it till like yesterday when I was painting. I'm like, oh, I did this before. I did 2 paintings where I used the sphere within the painting back in 2014. Let me show you the 2 paintings. Except these spheres are bigger, and they're blue. Blue balls. So this is where it's at. I think I'm pretty close to finishing. So this is where I'm at right now. So this is the bottom part. It has layers and layers of paint, like countless layers, and that's how you really achieve depth in a painting. So I turned it upside down to facilitate the painting process. Here's the current state it's at. I am done. And I absolutely love the way this looks. Obviously you're not going to be able to pick up on how cool this looks because video never does any justice to it. But I'm really pleased with the little details that you can see once you're close and personal. There's a lot of different brush strokes that are visible. There's like little nuances in the color, like the way the yellow shows through. I really like it. I mean, there's even orange in the spheres. I like the contrast between the cool colors and the warm colors. The shapes are very dynamic, but there's also a elegance and the simplicity of this painting that I think is really interesting. I love the bottom part, you know, how the color is layered. There's literally layer after layer after layer just to create the effect down here. The same with this, there's a lot of layers, but I think the bottom took the most work for me. And then I love how interesting the orange, or red, or vermilion, or rose red, there is very much a complexity to this color. Because depending on where you look at it from, what time of day you look at it, it changes. And that's what I like about this, that the way the light interacts with this gives a different feel to it, especially the part where I incorporated gold. Depending on where the sun is coming through or the light's being pointed, it will do different things. So that'll be interesting to look at. I didn't sign my name in the front because I don't want it to distract from the piece. Also, this painting reminds me of one by Salvador Dali. And maybe just the shape, but it reminds me a lot of Dance by Salvador Dali. This was painted in 1975, Dance, Rock and Roll, and it's like these two figures, the male figure and the female figure, which looks like they're dancing, but it also looks like they're kind of torturing each other, and how their limbs are super elongated and exaggerated. So, and I think this shape right here reminds me of those limbs that are super extended and elongated and exaggerated in Dali's piece. This would be like a more broken down representation, very, you know, like a very premature sketch of what that would be. But yeah, it reminds me of that piece. It reminds me of a lot of things actually, but that's the one that has come to me recently. I feel like you can see my shadow, but yeah, you can. But it changes depending on where you're standing. Like this part is really cool. See, I hate that you can see my shadow. This was actually very fun for me to paint. I really enjoyed this one. This was a longer journey than I anticipated. I really thought that I would finish it in like a week, but I started November 28th. It is now January 8th, so I took longer than I anticipated. I think it needed that time, you know. I really did layer the color and it's very rich. There's a lot of depth to the color, a lot of cool brush strokes, and overall I am very pleased. Adios y bye. Hope you enjoyed this video.